from being able to fully utilize the kit, then it's gonna be nullified. I think right now the route here of ADV is going full on fighters and possibly a lot of front lines so that they can just overwhelm the composition with a Zillion, because if you pick Zillion, it's definitely going to be a support. Then yeah, you have that revive, you have that crowd control, you have those zone tools, but you lack frontline now. So someone has to compromise. May it be the Baron lane or the jungle. Oftentimes it is the jungle, that's why we see a Vi pick right now, but it's not really a solid tank compared to like a Maokai support. So that's one of the disadvantages when you go with a Zillion comp.
And the fact that they have a Vi this time for Faithful Boys, Vi is normally that kind of jungler that just goes around the map and tries to initiate with the Cease and Deceits, try to get early pickups as well. So I can expect Faithful Boys to be doing like how they did in the previous game where they scored like the first 2 kills or 3 kills fairly early on. And now with the Vi, they can do that again.
It's surprising as well to see like Irelia being denied to Manila Aninam, but Spells is really damn good on this champion as well. He has demonstrated it already in like the local tournament here in the Philippines, and right now Adventus or ADV is just responding by committing to their initial goal. They picked up the Gwen, picked up the Maokai, picked up the Shyvana, lots of front lines again that can be very, very threatening to everyone, not only just front lines and even back lines as well. And I think one of the champions they can use in the ADC department as well could be like a Corki, could be a Zaya. I think those champions with self-peel and great like relocating tools or great protection for themselves is gonna be a wise choice, especially that there's a Vi, right? When there's a Vi, Zaya becomes much more optimal because you can just use your ult to deny the Vi ult as well, the cease and desist.
And I kind of like the first 3 picks by ADV, right? It gives me this a good mix. You have initiator, you can kind of tank, you can kind of deal damage as well. If there's anything that they could add on, is probably another big damage dealer, and of course that's going to come with the ADC later on. An ADC that stays far away might be kind of nice as well if you kind of think about it, considering that you have a strong initiator with the Shyvana already.
I wonder if this is gonna be a Morgana, right? That means that there's going to be a flex pick here. Like either the Maokai still being on the support role. The Gwen might be a swap towards the mid lane to the top lane, and the Morgana being into the mid lane to just be safe, battling with anyone since they picked it blindly. They don't know who's gonna be the matchup just yet, but since we see now that a rel is being hovered, if they commit to this, then it's gonna be a bit of a confusing lineup as well. Faithful Boys, they don't. They go with the Orianna inside, which is a much more staple pick, especially with the Vi. It's a standard combo as well, and it just completes the roster here. I think we still see like one of the disadvantages of the composition of Faithful Boys, like their lack of frontline. Yeah, Irelia and Vi are kind of tanky, but they're more bruisers rather than tanks. I think they fire more damage than are capable of receiving more damage, right? So it's still a little bit closer to a glass cannon composition in which ADV can easily shatter. They have a Jace now. They have the Morgana for the pickoffs. They have the Maokai as well for additional long range crowd control initiations. And their late game scaling is actually quite scary, despite them not having an ADC.
Okay, I noticed the Vi and Zill has been switching, so hopefully they decide on whatever that they have now, which is Vi in the jungle and Zillion playing as a support. But based on these two compositions, right, which composition do you like more?
Actually, like both. Again, like in terms of win condition, Faithful Boys is gonna strive when they get spells ahead, and also when they manage to be on par in terms of gold with ADV. towards the late game. It's like their situations kind of swap. Because game number one, right, ADV had like a late game scaling composition. It's now the situation of Faithful Boys, but for ADV right now with their lineup, I think it's more explosive in a way. They have so many long range abilities like the J Shockwave, the Morgana Dark Bindings, the Maokai Nature Grass, and then they have like really strong frontline engagers as well, like the Gwen and the Shyvana that can deal a substantial amount of DPS in a prolonged team fight. So I think in terms of target selection, Faithful Boys might actually have a hard time since Irelia is a single target champion. Zeri, yeah, you can hit a lot of champions, but when everyone's coming at you, it's kind of hard to do that. Vi target single champions mostly. So there's so many ways that ADV can actually exploit that. And I think their composition is really good at doing that.
And normally, if your composition is single target focus, how I read it is that they would want to try to get very early game pickups. So after they got their necessary spells, they will rotate around the map to try to get those pickups and just snowball from there. Get the pickoff, get the turret as quickly as possible, and then snowball from there. The fact that you have like a Vi also helps to push turrets really, really fast as well. So that's going to be something that I might be thinking of, like ending the game early, not drag it as long as how we had in the game one.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Vi, right? In the early game, Vi seems to be like a more like a farming champion, similar to like Master Yi, right? But when he gets his items, especially when he gets objectives as well, and when the game kind of progresses, it's hard to really calculate the limit of a Shyvana, especially when Shyvana is just running at you very, very fast. You think you would be able to survive, but no. Oftentimes, it's a grave mistake. And ADV, they not only just have that, they have so many champions that they can go alongside with the Shyvana, like the Gwen, the Maokai, even the Jace. They just need to be a little careful. Speaking of careful, Disaster's low in HP, but so does Shy.
Yeah, early pokes here by both sides, and what I noticed is that it was Fuyu who actually checked things out on the jungle side of ADV. Maybe a little bit an overstep and he takes a bit of damage, but that's okay. At the laning phase, a support champion is meant to take damage anyway.
It's interesting as well because they're treating it like a Senna comp. Shy is gonna be the one to just be the support this time. While Scorn is the one getting the CS. Especially in the roles right now. Oftentimes we see that kind of switch up only when there's like a Senna, but in this case they're applying it on a different pair. I think laning phase is gonna be much easier, especially that they do have a Morgana, which has like a long range wave clear tool with those black pools, and since they do have a Maokai, like engages are going to be extra difficult, especially for bits later on, because the first skill of a Maokai, that knockback, kind of stops the Vault Breaker, so you're a little bit forced to use your ult later on, and since you're kind of reliant on your ult, then you're kind of forced as well to just reach level 5 and not really get any engages pre-5.
But the top lane as well is an interesting matchup. The Gwen going up against an Irelia. I would say that the Gwen has a clear advantage, especially when the Gwen already has the snip. They're able to put a lot of pressure back on the Jangguan, and he will have a hard time farming. And at this very early stage, we can already see that Manila Anilam has a little bit more control of the top lane as compared to Jangguan.
Yeah, I mean, you can also dodge some of the abilities of the Irelia with your mist, right? And I think it's really, really, really helpful, at least in the laning phase. Very helpful in team fights, bottom lane.
Oh, that's a very long chase there. And they kind of force out the flash. But will they be able to take down the turret? Not yet. It is still fairly early. A time for a rotation towards the bottom, but at the top, we're going to see the first blood. Pitch will be the first one to go down, but the trade-off happened, and Manila Anilam went down as well, thanks to Jangguan.
It's a bit of a win actually for Spells in the top lane because yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade, but is now being able to get a couple of plates onto the tower and manage to craft 1.5 wave there. So that's gold denied towards Manila Alenam. That's why we're seeing a bit of a 500 gold lead in just the Baron lane role. Agnes as well is forced to rotate top lane just to stop the push coming in from Spells. Bottom lane now, ADV is trying to get some goal for themselves. And since it's two champions attacking the tower, they're able to almost equalize the amount of plates taken there by Spells. But it's still going at it.
Oh, at the top, Jangwon, last hit, and he's still able to get it before he went down. At least it's a bit of a trade there at the top.
Yeah, but this time, Pitts is gonna be there to actually catch the wave. So it's much more efficient here for Faithful Boys in terms of the kills happening, and now intentions having an intention to gank top as well.
Oh, it's going to be a 2v1 for sure. They're going to engage, and that's going to be an easy pick off there. But will Manila Nilam survive this one? Yes. The turret will stop shooting, and he will be okay. So now ADV, they have the kill advantage.
And now they're applying pressure in the bottom lane as well. This tower is close to falling down. They engage, but they back away shortly after. 960 HP left on that tier 1 tower. Top lane as well is being brutally pushed by Spells, and this is a lot of pressure for ADV as of the moment.
But top again is just a bit of a poker between the two sides. But because Jangwon, he had some level of help from his teammates, now he managed to balance out the top lane. And he's very confident on trying to pick this 1v1. And here comes the 1v1. But also intentions. Oh no, bad timing. Intentions showed up just at the right moment to secure the kill.
Back-to-back gank. But it's a different champion that was taken down this time around. And they're looking to push that tower.
You're gonna push at the bottom. Are they gonna get this kill? No, Fuyo says not today.
Yeah, popping out the throne shift and was able to stay alive as well. The ult wasn't procced anymore. I think it wasn't needed. In terms of ult cooldowns, I think every single member here on both teams will have their ults available by the time the objectives spawn up. Maybe Mirai won't be able to have one, so they kind of need to stall things out.
But now they have to kind of buy a bit of time. 10 more seconds before both Baron and Dragon is up, and that's where we'll see the next contest happening. FFB seems to be interested with the Baron side. So it might be a 1-for-1.
In high professional play, normally Enchanted Ensemble or Rift Herald, or formerly known as Rift Herald, is like a priority because it gives you a tool snowball into the game. And like the logic usually of pro players is they want to get gold is the #1 priority and pushing, so they get that objective, and then when they have the lead, they just deny the second dragon, so that soul won't be available for them.
Oh, and looks like they're gonna put pressure onto the mid. Maybe a bit of an overextension there. Cease and Deceive will be used underneath the turret. Turret takes a bit of damage there. Turret will go down. And it looks like FFB, great engagement, but are they able to come out clean? One of their players kind of low though, but they have enough protection from each other.
And no casualties on both sides. It's just a bit of a handshake in terms of objectives. ADV, the only difference in this situation right now, in terms of objectives, ADV actually will be happily taking that trade because they have a Shivan.
Oh, 3-on-1, nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Oh, but he still has a flash. Thanks to the flash, he survives. Oh, no!
Even if he casts his second skill, it won't really negate the damage of the Ignite because it deals true damage. So that's quite unfortunate for Spells right there. And ADV cracking that top lane tower, almost equalizing the structure score, but actually they have the lead because they pushed bot lane prior as well. So now it equates to almost 2,000 gold lead by this red side team, and just keep getting these information, like constantly looking around the map and getting there first before Faithful Boys is key to them winning the fights most of the time. We saw that happening a lot of times in the top lane. We saw it happening once as well in the objective fight. And now they just keep on doing the same setup, replicating now in the bot lane.
But from the side, Hits is waiting for the right moment. He does have the cease and desist, but decision compromise, and now he will be the target though. All in onto Pitts. Nowhere for Pitts to go. Second life on the Pitts thanks to the GA, but there's no way he's able to survive this one. Still able to pull out the cease and desist, and now his teammates are able to counter back. 3 lives traded back. That is a good counter initiation by FFB.
Yeah, lots of time and attention bought by Pitts, especially with the help of Disaster right there on that revive, because as they were waiting for the Vi, Onyx and Mirai were actually dealing damage to them. And as they were trying to take down Pitts for the second time, they just got comboed by Faithful Boys. And since they received too much of those damage, they were already low and they just went for the kills. And now, Faithful Boys getting their momentum back. They're the ones or at least they equalized the gold now, which helps them in their composition, right? Because we talked about it earlier. Their composition is designed mostly for late game, and all they have to do is just keep the gold even. That's like the bare minimum that they have to do to win this game, and they're doing it so far.
So a bit early for the Dragon though, but they're starting to just scout things out and plant wards around. But they're not really going to commit to it yet. Still managing the waves on the side lanes. It would be great if we can take down the bottom turret though. Give them a bit more space for the Dragon.
Intentions, already having Death Dance, I think is going to be key for him surviving fights. Because all he has to do is run down the members of Faithful Boys, and he has a lot of targets as well. Their main target as well is going to be the Dragon, of course, since they do have the Shyvana. He has to scale up, he needs to get those Dragons. Baron gonna be spawning up in the next 40 seconds as well. So whoever wins this fight in the second Dragon might have leverage for Baron taking.
We might see a fight anytime soon here. FFB gathering around. Same goes for ADV as well. Everyone's waiting for each other to make the initiation. But if anyone's going to initiate first, it could be FFB. Let's see here, the Dragon's not down to 50% of health, but looks like Shyvana is going to go in first, forcing FFB to turn back, and now FFB being zoned out of this situation. The tank is still happening here, but Pitt might fall, and he still has his second life. He will survive. Shutdown onto Manila Anilam. That's the shutdown that they have been looking for.
And Mirai kept on free-hitting that entire fight. Steal attempt.
Oh, Dragon, who's gonna get in? Who's gonna lock in the Dragon? And looks like blue side, FFB still able to lock in the Dragon. No challenge by ADV, no way they can do it.
Yeah, the key again is just attention grabbing while Mirai keeps on free hitting. He hasn't been the target this entire game. We saw Spells getting targeted, we saw Pitts getting targeted, we saw Disaster getting targeted by ADV, but never Mirai. And that became like a grave mistake for them, because he is now being able to just deal a massive amount of damage, and with the Infernal Dragon Soul denied to ADV, that just hurts the Shyvana even more, or even like the entire team, because that Infernal Dragon would have been so helpful for them, especially in their damage department, especially for their pokes from the Jace, from the Morgana, had they secured it. Now, they're forcing out the Baron.
Okay, back to back. They do have the smite. But it looks like ADV, they're doing the zoning work right now. The Baron, they will pause on that. They will go in onto FFB. FFB now, one player is in charge. Certainly Fuyu, but Fuyu is still able to survive thanks to the GA. But all the way on the other side, Jangwon now being chased down, and Jangwon might be the next big target here. But the rest of FFB is there to protect him, and they will not overcommit on Jangwon.
Oh man, Spell's flank basically threatened everyone from ADV because they were already overextended in that position, and they just halted their chase to Faithful Boys. just because of the mere presence of that Irelia. No casualties though. I think that's good on both sides. But again, Faithful Boys, they're just scaling right now. Ravenous Death Cap about to be completed here for Onyx as well. Once he gets that, it will just exponentially improve his burst damage and even his consistent damage, right? Because he does have the first strike as well. He has been scaling up in terms of gold much more efficiently than the Jace. I think Agnes Tachyon with the Conquerors just focuses more on that consistent damage that he can deal on a team fight and a little bit of survivability as well. That's why we see Eclipse, but it hasn't been helping them that much. His score, it's also reflected on his score 0, 2, and 4. Meanwhile, Faithful Boys, they're getting more and more confident as the game progresses.
And you know what? FFB now, they're ahead in terms of gold by around 2k. And they finally caught up. So this is the moment for them to try to swing the possibility towards their side. It's still kind of 50-50, you ask me. At this point, it still feels like that one fight can determine the game, just like how we saw in game 1.
It is. I mean, they've been in this situation before already. I think that was a big learning lesson for them. They learned a lot, and they're so far applying in this game. They're not being too sloppy, they're not being too aggressive, they're not being too reckless. Ravenous Death Cap completed already. The man, Faithful Boys, they just continue to group up, deny vision, set up their own vision as well, and maybe even attempt to bait them out for this Baron. But there's a huge wave like brewing up in the bottom lane. I think that has to be addressed by someone from Faithful Boys. And the main problem is that they don't really have anyone with a teleport, so that was kinda attempted to be exploited by ADV a while ago, but since there was a portal from the bottom lane towards the top lane, it became a bit of a problem for ADV.
Man, this Baron dance is taking a while now. It's up until the next dragon is up. They might switch their objective if it is still a 50-50 now, rather than just dancing here and nobody's making the move and the wave will just shove itself. At some point, they will be forced to move away.
Look at those spokes, or at least attempts by ADV. The shock blast from Agnes, the pulls from Scorn not really being felt by Faithful Boys. They're the ones being threatened a lot by the presence of Onyx.
And now they switch their attention towards the dragon like how we kind of expected. But FFB is still doing a great job zoning out ADV. And ADV, they don't have an entry point unless they force the initiation. But that's what FFB wants them to do. They want them to force the initiation so they counter initiate again, just like how we saw earlier.
Yep. Faithful Boys being very, very patient, right? They're not really engaging that much, but they got engaged.
Oh, Jangwan in trouble right now. He needs help, and here comes the shockwave to pull them all together. This is the counter initiation that we talked about. FFB, they were waiting for this moment, and it's got 4 kills out of it. Agnes is out as well. It is a big ace for FFB.
Man, Faithful Boys, again, disaster with the clutch ults. Just preventing ADV from getting that single target pick up. And I said this a lot of times here in this game, but Mirai remains untouched. And when he is just there without feeling any threat, he just free hits all the way. And the damage definitely was felt here by ADV. And now they're going to be feeling much more of a bigger threat because Faithful Boys, they are match point.
Oh man, it is that one fight. That again swung everything towards Faithful Boys. Same story, different round, one fight is all it takes, and they push it all the way to end the game.
Incredible performance here coming in from Faithful Boys. ADV, it kind of looks like they're running out of bullets here to use to Faithful Boys, and their former strategies from yesterday is no longer working, and they need another trick up their sleeve if they want to at least secure a game here against Faithful Boys. The only difference now is that it's a best of 5 compared to the best of 3 yesterday and all of the games before that as well. So they still have one more chance, but man,